So we began with psychoeducation about his PTSD symptoms, about cognitive processing therapy, about how that could then be helpful for his PTSD symptoms. And he completed the version of cognitive processing therapy, which includes a trauma narrative. So there are different versions of CPT. One version does not include a trauma narrative. So the trauma narrative is when people write in detail about the index trauma or kind of the trauma that stands out the most that is really impacting them. All versions of CPT include the impact statement, which is where a person writes about how the trauma has impacted them, with specific prompts around how it's impacted their beliefs about the world, their beliefs about themselves, and their beliefs about other people, because this is what's going to help you get a sense of what is this person's pre-existing schema, right? What was their belief system, and how has the trauma impacted that? How has the trauma shifted that or reinforced their belief system? In completing these exercises, Mr. Johnson was able to process his natural emotions and understand how he had come to develop these unhelpful beliefs as a way of making sense of the trauma, right? So it's kind of, it's twofold. It allows you to explore these emotions that maybe hadn't been dealt with, right? So avoidance is not just avoidance of things like actual triggers like sounds or people or places, but also avoidance of emotional experiences. So Mr. Johnson was finally able to process these emotions that he had been trying to suppress. Makes sense that he was trying to suppress them if he thought he should be strong, push through, and suck it up, right? Like we can see how that conceptualization really helps us to understand how he and why he was engaging with his emotions in the ways that he was. He was also able to identify and challenge his belief that he was weak for experiencing these emotions, right? So again, that belief being heavily rooted in so many aspects of his identity, cultural background, military experience, all of that. He learned about how his core beliefs about himself and the world had been impacted as a result of the trauma, and how and why that was impacting his life in the ways that it did. So treatment specifically targeted his belief that his friend's death was his fault, along with his beliefs that people in the world were just generally unsafe. Like everybody's unsafe, the world is not safe. And this is why his life had really gotten quite small at this point in terms of his day-to-day.